All right, we got a great show. The media reaction to Trump's UN speech was absolutely hilarious. Fear and loathing all around, and not just for the UN speech, but for the new Republican health care bill, and not just on the news, but on late night comedy. It's like a relentless assault of propaganda passing for news and entertainment. We will pull it apart slowly and painfully, listening to it scream. Plus, what's the difference between celibacy, abstinence, and chastity? We will address that when we answer your mailbag questions about sex. And on Tickety Boo News, so help me, I have a story about Black Lives Matter that will make you say, hey, I kind of like those guys, I promise. But first, reactions to President Trump's first speech before the United Nations General Assembly are still coming in. Trump's speech condemned socialism, Islamism, Iran, North Korea, and Venezuela, and also had some tough words for the UN itself and for the Iran deal of the last president, what's his name? Barkey O'Hara, something like that. It's hard to remember now that his legacy is just a flaming pile of drifting ash wafting away to nothingness on the balmy breezes of history. But anyway, it was a speech that shocked the United Nations because it featured the truth and funny nicknames for dictators and happy Israelis, things that haven't been seen at the UN since it became a stinking cesspit of corrupt bureaucrats fronted by scurrilous tyrants, which happened about a week and a half after it was founded in 1945. So, predictably, reactions were intense. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, for instance, reacted to Trump's threat to totally destroy his country by laughing defiantly until he burst a hole through his stomach, flew up into the air, and flittered around the room, making a high-pitched squealing noise like a deflating balloon, until there was nothing left of him but a wrinkled army uniform and a rock-hard rectangle of black hair. Venezuelan leaders reacted to Trump's declaration that socialism was an oppressive and discredited ideology by running out of the room and sending texts back to the government reading, uh-oh, big mistake, ixnay on the socialism say. Apparently, no one had explained to them about the history of the last 100 years. Bernie Sanders was also upset to hear about the whole socialism is bad thing. I'm beginning to think my entire political career has been a great big screw-up, Sanders said in an exclusive interview with his Che Guevara t-shirt. Also, maybe that honeymoon in the Soviet Union wasn't such a good idea after all. In the news media, journalists reacted with their usual objectivity and calm. At the New York Times, a former newspaper, columnist Charles Blomey wrote, quote, "We're all going to die. Trump is going to war with everyone. Death, death, death. Har, har, har. I'm writing this in an underground bunker that has become the headquarters of the resistance. Anyone who can hear me, follow the sound of my voice so that we can begin to build a new community like at the end of I Am Legend, only with me in charge instead of Will Smith. And instead of blowing myself up at the end, I just pick up a paycheck for writing hysterical garbage like this, and then I go home." Unquote. Other reactions in the news media included Wolf Blitzer's wordless sobbing, Don Lemon staring blankly into the camera with his lower lip trembling, and Chris Cuomo running around in widening circles until he got stuck in the corner of the studio and had to be pried out with the jaws of life. Donald Trump, meanwhile, is already at work on his next UN speech, tentatively titled, "Mess with Me, Losers, and I'll Nuke You All." Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shape, tipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
All right. I think everybody just has to calm down after that speech. Maybe they should all do a little single nostril breathing.
But you know, you do hold and you breathe through one and you hold it and then you exhale through the other and you keep going.
I feel so much better now. All right, it's mailbag day. Yeah. We have some amazing questions and we'll take a look at the news media. But first, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at me and you're thinking, how does he get his head so perfect? And the reason is I have belonged for a long time, even before they were sponsors, to the Dollar Shave Club, dollarshaveclub.com. I got so tired of going to the drugstore and you reach into the thing, you reach into the shelf to get the razors and an alarm goes off and then three guys have to come and help you and you're lucky they don't arrest you and all this stuff. So I actually heard about this on Hannity and I thought I just want to hear if when Hannity recommends something, it really is good. So I joined the Dollar Shave Club and it's great. It really is. I have a lot of territory, a lot of real estate I got to shave. And I started out getting their simple, what do they call it? A double. It's the humble duet or something like that. And I started shaving with that, and it was excellent blade. They send it to you right in the mail. You just pick it. You can get their what do they have? The shave butter, which is actually better. It's called Dr. Carver shave butter. It's actually better than shaving foam. It really works well. Then, when I got them as sponsors, they sent me their premium blade. And this thing, I know, it's 157 blades. I don't know how many blades are on it, maybe 6 or something. But you shave with it, and it just keeps shaving for the rest of the day. You know, it's just the blade. I know. It's like your follicles scream. Anyway, it is absolutely great. Great shave at a great price. And when you put them together, when you use that executive blade with the shave butter, it's amazing. You can make the smarter choice by joining Dollar Shave Club for a limited time. New members get their first month of the executive razor with a tube of the Dr. Carver shave butter for only $5 with free shipping. And after that, razors are just a few bucks a month. That's a $15 value for only $5. In your first month box, you get an awesome weighty handle, a full cassette of 4 cartridges, and a tube of their shave butter. After your first month, replacement cartridges ship automatically at their regular price. And if you don't want them that month, you just press a little button that says skip this month, and they won't send them. There are no hidden fees, no commitments. Cancel anytime you like, and you can only get this offer exclusively at dollarshaveclub.com/Klavan.
I know this one.
Go ahead. Let's hear it. How do you spell Klavan?
Klavan.
The man can learn. He can learn and use rude tools and maybe stand upright one day. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Klavan. It's a good deal, and it really is so much easier than just getting those disposable razors all the time. All right. You got the hate radiating from the TV screen. It's amazing. It's not just the news. It's every late night comedy show. They've thrown comedy away. It's just all propaganda. So let's start with the news, because the one thing that actually came out yesterday was Bret Baier was interviewing the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, and asked him, Trump came down pretty hard on Obama's Iran deal during his UN speech. And he asked Tillerson, is this thing going to be off the table? And this is a complicated question, because Obama set this deal up so that we gave them all the stuff first, and now we're just waiting for them to comply. And secondly, they can comply with the letter of the law. They can comply with the letter of the deal and still prepare to have nuclear weapons in 14 years when the deal sunsets. Then the deal is over, and all this time they've been getting all the ancillary stuff they need. So it's really, Obama really set this up badly, and I don't know why. I don't know what he was thinking and why he thought it was such a great idea to deal with some of the worst actors in the country. Here is Tillerson reacting on how the Trump administration feels about this deal. This is cut 2.
The Iranian threat to the region is much broader than defined as simply by the nuclear talks. Our relationship with Iran from a security standpoint and a threat standpoint is much broader than that, as is the entire region. And we've really got to begin to deal with Iran's destabilizing activities in Yemen and Syria. And the president highlighted that today, that under the agreement, the spirit of the agreement, if you want to use that word, but even the words of the preamble of the agreement, there was clearly an expectation, I think, on the part of all of the parties to that agreement, that by signing this nuclear agreement, Iran would begin to move to a place where it wanted to reintegrate itself with its neighbors. And that clearly did not happen. In fact, Iran has stepped up its destabilizing activities in the region, and we have to deal with that. And so whether we deal with it through a renegotiation on nuclear or we deal with it in other ways.
So, it's pretty harsh talk. I mean, they really are dealing with this. And so before we go back to the reaction to Trump's speech, and it was a hard-nosed, real politics speech, before we go back, let's just go back once more to Obama's speech. Here's a little montage of Obama's last speech to the UN. I'm not going to play the whole thing. The video is called 11 Times Obama Talked Down the U.S. in his final UN speech. But listen to this dithering tone that he takes when he's talking about our country to the world.
Yes, in America, there is too much money in politics, too much entrenched partisanship, too little participation by citizens, in part because of a patchwork of laws that makes it harder to vote. That while we've made our share of mistakes over these last 25 years, and I've acknowledged some, we have strived, sometimes at great sacrifice, to align better our actions with our ideals. And we can only realize the promise of this institution's founding to replace the ravages of war with cooperation if powerful nations, like my own, accept constraints.
What a dunderhead this guy was. I'm so glad he's gone. You know, his problem was that he looked at the world as if we were in a relationship, like you apologize to your wife and then she forgives you and you move on because you're in this relationship. These guys are competitors and enemies. A lot of these guys are competitors and enemies, and every inch you give, they come in and move in to take the next inch, kind of like the left in general. Anyway, so Trump goes out there and he says, basically, we are a force for good, and here are the bad guys. Venezuela with its socialism, Iran with its tyranny, North Korea with its crazy rocket man, as he called him. And, we're sick of this. We're watching the UN to see if you can deal with this, and if you don't deal with it, we will. And that's what Trump says. Here is a montage of CNN reacting to the speech. It's amazing.
So this is a guy who goes around thumbing his nose at international entities and international attempts to confront global challenges.
This was a very somber, dark speech, if you will, Wolf. And I remember thinking back to the first appearance that President Obama made here in 2009 as president. Of course, a far different reception. Of course, he had a booming, enthusiastic applause.
It was remarkable to see a leader of any country, but the President of the United States, standing in the well of the United Nations General Assembly, threatening to totally destroy, not retaliate, not hurt, not isolate, not prove a point, totally destroy a country.
And I spoke a short time ago to a senior UN diplomat who described it to me this way, saying that he, diplomats around him, were taken aback. He described it to me like a wind had gone through the room when the president uttered those words, "We will totally destroy North Korea." Said it was an emotional reaction. It's those words about North Korea that particularly sparked a reaction in that room. Audible gasps, I'm told. Extremely unusual. An emotional reaction, as this diplomat said.
It's really frightening to hear an American president talk about obliterating any other country. The axis of evil speech that George W. Bush gave was certainly frightening and got controversial to a lot of people, but he didn't go that far.
Oh, Booby, they had an emotional reaction. The people at the UN, they had an emotional reaction. These guys need to calm down. You know what they need? They need a little single nostril breathing, I think.
But, you do hold, and you breathe through one, and you hold it, and then you exhale through the other, and you keep going.
So, speaking of Hillary Clinton, Stephen Colbert has her on to react to the speech. Now, first of all, this is Stephen Colbert, right? So it's like not only are you getting the propaganda from CNN and not all the other news people was the same way. You're now getting it from your late night comedy stores, right? You're getting it from your late night entertainment shows. He brings on Hillary Clinton. Now let's just remember, okay, Hillary Clinton is the Secretary of State who brought the big red reset button to the Soviet Union, which they were like, oh good, we blow up America. They were just disappointed when they pressed the button that nothing exploded. Also, she's the Secretary of State who pushed the administration to kill off Gaddafi. Now, this is a big deal because Gaddafi, remember, got scared of George W. Bush and he gave up his nuke program and his weapons of mass destruction program. And then, at Hillary Clinton's insistence, we killed him. We basically, let him lose power, which first of all plunged Libya into complete disarray and let it become a terrorist playground. But also it sent a message to guys like Kim Jong-un in North Korea, give up your weapons and we'll kill you. Kim Jong-un was thinking, I'm not doing the Libya thing because that's not going to work out well for me. So this is a complete incompetent, but we got to hear how she would have given this speech. And of course, I'm sure she's been practicing it in front of the mirror ever since she lost the election, what the speech she would have given to the UN. Here it is.
Well, of course, when you face dangerous situations like what is happening in North Korea, to make it clear, your first approach should always be diplomatic. What I'd hope the president would have said was something along the lines of, we view this as dangerous to our allies, to the region, and even to our country. We call on all nations to work with us to try to end the threat posed by Kim Jong-un and not call him Rocket Man, the old Elton John song, but to say clearly we will not tolerate any attacks on our friends or ourselves. But you should lead with diplomacy.
Yeah, no one ever thought of that before. You know, it's not like we've tried diplomacy on this guy. That's all we've been doing, and all Trump has been doing. He's been trying and trying diplomacy. This guy's not listening, and there comes a point when he has got the capability, Kim Jong-un has got the capability to fire nuclear weapons into L.A. when you can't attack him anymore. Then the military options are off the table. So we already, you know, it's like we haven't been doing this. You know, Lee Smith had a piece of Tablet Mag where he said Democrats and Republican elites are using Trump to whitewash 16 years of foreign policy disasters. And I think that is absolutely true. He writes, the policies of the Bush White House, beginning with the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and then the ostensibly corrective policies of the Obama administration, which culminated in the Iran deal and the ongoing slaughter in Syria, have sucked nearly the entire American foreign policy elite into a black hole of denial of their own shared responsibility for a self-evident geopolitical disaster that began in the destruction of the Middle East, but is unlikely to end there. That's why both parties are in agreement on one thing: shift the blame. It's not on us, Republicans or Democrats. Trump is the problem. We can all agree on. Let's wipe the slate clean and agree that history started in January 2017 in any effort to argue otherwise and put Trump, his policies, and even personality in some sort of historical context rather than simply regard him as a freakish anomaly is whataboutism or Trumpism or worse. And that's exactly what's happening. Hey, we have the mailbag coming up, some really, really interesting questions, but it comes on after the break. So if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you'll have to come over to thedailywire.com and listen to it. But you could subscribe for a lousy $10 a month, and you can subscribe for a lousy $10 a month, and you can watch the whole thing right on the site. Plus, you can send questions into the mailbag. The thing about the questions, you can ask about anything: sex, religion, politics. The answers are guaranteed 100% correct and will change your life, on occasion, for the better. If you subscribe for a year, it's only 100 lousy bucks, and you get the Leftist Tears mug. The Leftist Tears mug, which fills up automatically with leftist tears whenever Donald Trump speaks before the UN. So we're going to go on. I want to continue a little bit on this, on the subject of the late night propaganda, the late night comedy propaganda, because it goes on, and it really is worth looking at. But first, let's talk about steak. Yeah, I know. You know, the thing is, it's fall now, and even in California, the temperatures have dropped to maybe 75 degrees or something. But pretty soon, it's going to be a little hard to have those grills. So you want to start doing it now, and you want your friends to be able to do it too. And Omaha Steaks is a new offer that is a gift that you can send to your friends. You can also buy it for yourself if you want, but it is a huge gift. It's a one-of-a-kind gift for food lovers or even for yourself. It includes gourmet Omaha steaks and meats, plus a Weber kettle grill and accessories. Everything is delivered. Everything is guaranteed. There's no other gift like this. It gives an experience that they're going to remember, and they'll remember you every time they cook steaks and use their grill. These foods, I have eaten their stuff. The meat is really of a very, very special quality. It is really good. This is the only way to give the best food gift ever. Tons of filet mignons, New York strips, ribeyes, T-bone steaks, gourmet brats, signature burgers, pork chops, chicken breasts, Omaha Steaks gourmet steak rubs, charcoal chimney starter, digital meat thermometer, and a complete grilling tool set. It's only $499, just a little $500. You get this huge, giant selection of meats, plus everything you need to start grilling today. And you'll get that 22-inch Weber Original Kettle Grill. Just for my listeners, this new package delivers for only $499. That's $499. Go to Omaha. Yeah, I don't want to say it's $5. It's $499 and worth it, obviously. Go to omahasteaks.com, type Andrew in the search bar, and choose your ultimate Omaha Steaks experience. Again, visit omahasteaks.com and enter code Andrew in the search bar to get this one-of-a-kind experience today. You can send it to your friends. It also has a smoking experience and a sous vide experience, which is available now. 100% guaranteed. Try it out. Really good food. All right, are we going to break? Yeah, we'll break here for Facebook and YouTube. If you want to listen to the rest of the show, come to thedailywire.com, subscribe, and you can watch it right there. Just a lousy $10 a month, and for a year, it's only a lousy $100, and you get the Leftist Tears tumbler. All right. So we do the UN speech, and you watch the news all day, and then at the end of the day, you want to relax with a little comedy. Forget about it. Okay. Now, the Republicans are now